We are entering into this match. The first match between Team PumkinSnatch and the Chadley Cannons. Gonna take a quick breath before we begin. And they are off! We have a beautiful positional play between Chad is my dad beater, and Alpha Tux as seeker. You know the pressure is going to be high between these two players as neither of them want to be responsible for their team's loss. Tux takes a hit from Chad. Chad sends a bludger, Tux dodging out of the way just in time. The Chaser core is evenly balanced between these two teams, neither having conceded just yet within the first minute of the match. However, that may change as the tide often does. PumkinSnatch currently in possession of the Quaffle, sending it on out to Cardi. Cardi holding on to the Quaffle, maybe looking to play a bit more tactically here, prevent the enemy keeper from getting that kick on Tux, but Tux takes a hit from J-Guard. We are just moving into the 50-50 meter point, by which looks like Chad is sending a bludger over towards Tux. Sends another. Tux is not getting any breathing room, wrapping around his home post and coming back towards midfield. J-Guard looking for a bump to shrink that lead. But it looks as if J-Guard is actually in the lead on this snitch. Tux closing the gap very quickly. Tux gets a beautiful bump there. Moving on downfield, the Chasers are moving away from Chaser game. No scores set on the clock at 5 minutes, 15 seconds left on that. Seeker game, back and forth. McCoon eliminates J-Guard, giving Tux a wide lead on this snitch. But Chad is looking to get those hits on Tux. Tux looking to keep a wide berth, moving over towards enemy goal as both Scourge and Chad maintain that pressure. J-Guard looking to get some ground here, but Tux captures the snitch at 4 minutes, 49 seconds left on the clock. That is 20 points by way of Team PumkinSnatch. Absolutely beautiful capture there. Tux proving to be one of the top tier seekers despite the pressure. Tux having found the snitch first, maintaining a marginal lead in the snitch game. However, by way of Chaser Core, 21st Q puts it in, 10 points on the board for Team PumkinSnatch, giving them a 30-point lead. Chad's falling back on the back foot. The Chads need to find their footing in order to maintain themselves in this tournament. Of course, this is only the first game between the two of them. However, any loss here is one step closer towards the prolific or proverbial grave. Cardi for Team PumkinSnatch in possession of the Quaffle. Puts it in. Another 10 points on the board for Team PumkinSnatch. Chadley Cannons needing to find a way to get back in this game. Chad looking for a means to put more pressure on the snitch game. Tux waiting for it with a beautiful bump there. Tux weaving around enemy goals, hesitant to enter into the enemy territory lest he be knocked down. Meanwhile, J-Guard is on his tail, trying to catch back up, trying to get a good bump in here and there, staying on top of the snitch, getting a marginal lead here as Chad maintains that beater pressure. But all the while, as this is happening, the Chaser core for Team PumkinSnatch is pushing downfield. Cardi in possession of the Quaffle, but Saffron maintains it now. Looks like the Chads are getting their footing once more. J-Guard in the lead on the snitch. However, Tux is getting closer and closer. We have just passed the 50-50 threshold. Looks as if J-Guard has taken a hit from the beater, but gets a bump on Tux. Moving back on over to the seeker position as we are seeing a 70-50 meter. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Tux is crouching on home goal, swinging back around with a good lead on this snitch. But Chad is looking to get those hits in. Jay is looking for those bumps. Jay weaves out of the way. Looks as if Cardi puts another 10 points on the board. Beautiful shot by Cardi. 50-0. Team PumkinSnatch maintaining a dominating lead here. Absolutely wild plays. Jay goes for a bump but misses. Looks as if Tux was quandering whether or not to respond with a bump of their own, but decides otherwise and utilizes it there, maintaining the lead, getting closer. 1 minute, 53 seconds left on the clock. Tux has the chance to capture, but J-Guard gets the bump. Swing wide. J-Guard is now on top of the snitch. Tux with a gross disparity between him and this. Will Tux get this bump? Tux gets the bump and the capture. 70-0 on the board. 1 minute 37 seconds on the clock. What a shot. What a match. Beautiful capture there by way of Tux. I am in awe of this Seeker gameplay. One Warden puts points on the board for the Chadley Cannons. That is now 70-10 with a 60-point disparity with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. There is potential for the Chadley Cannons to turn this around, but it is unlikely with the pressure that Team PumkinSnatch has been maintaining the entirety of this match. Still, Chad is my dad maintaining that pressure on the Seeker core. Tux gets a good bump over on J-Guard. J-Guard looking to respond. 21st Q maintaining the lead for Team PumkinSnatch with another goal, 80-10. 50 seconds left on the clock. It is unlikely that we will be seeing any overtime here, but still, my fingers are crossed. I want to see a match 3 between these two, and the sooner they secure this, the better. Tux getting a beautiful bump and maintaining a wide lead at approximately 70% on Snitch Meter, with 50 by way of J-Guard. J-Guard struggling to get past McCoon as beater guard. Takes another beat by Alpha Tux. Cardi putting another point on the board for Team PumkinSnatch. 90-10. Do they hold off? Do they want to get that 110 on the board? Or is Tux going to not get the chance? That is 8 seconds left on the clock. 90-10. Tux has the chance. Will Tux get it in these last few seconds? Doesn't get it, but still a beautiful lead by Team PumkinSnatch. 90-10. What a match. Having played against them in the past, let me tell you, they are incredibly formidable, but the Chadley Cannons have what it takes to respond in kind. Will they be able to do so in this next match? We're about to find out. And they're off. Chadley Cannons gain possession of the quaffle, streaking down the pitch. Chad is my dad looking for an opening. Swings over to the right, passes on over, and puts it in! T-Dreams puts the first goal on the board within 6 minutes, 45 seconds. 10 points by way of the Chadley Cannons, taking an early lead on this game. PumkinSnatch in possession of the quaffle, sending it on out. Tux taking a bump. Looks as if J-Guard is maintaining his Seeker position there, wanting to get revenge perhaps on Tux for that last match, but J-Guard is currently feeling the pain. T-Dreams puts another 10 points on the board. 6 minutes in, 20-0, Chadley Cannons in the lead. Beautiful to behold. As I've said, Chadley Cannons do have that explosive force behind them. They just need to be able to apply it here. Maybe that first match was experimental. Currently, though, it looks as if Tux is maintaining that dominance within the Seeking game with a wide lead, approximately a 60-50 versus J-Guard. Saffron in possession of the quaffle, moving downfield. Chad looking for a setup, hoping to get a one-timer in here perhaps. But Saffron, no, T-Dreams puts another 10 points on the board. That is a hat trick for T-Dreams. Beautiful shot, 30-0. That's some snitch insurance right there by way of the Chadley Cannons. Ooh, and Tux is getting hit. The Seeking game is at its highest point. Currently, Tux in the lead by a wide margin, 95%. Ooh, it looks as if J-Guard is going to have a hard time closing that gap unless they get some good Seeker interference. J-Guard not giving up. Tux streaking down from the right-hand side of the field, looking to flank the snitch, dodges a speeding bludger. Weaves around the enemy post and captures as the snitch was oncoming, putting 20 points on the board for Team PKS. 20-30, Chadley Cannon still in the lead at 4 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. Beautiful, beautiful capture there by Tux. What a match. Chad putting it in like an absolute Chad. Beautiful shot. Let's see that one more time. And it looks as if Tux is trying to find their way around. Meanwhile, the Chaser Core gameplay. T-Dream still in possession of the quaffle, passes on out. Chad now in possession of the quaffle, sends it on downfield. 21st regains possession of the Quaffle for Team PKS. Hoping to hold on to it, being tactical, waiting for the enemy to clear. But Chad regains possession of the Quaffle, looking as if we are entering into 40. And Chad puts it home! 50-20 on the board! Chads are absolutely rocking this Chaser Core gameplay today. Though, I wouldn't put it past Team PumkinSnatch to be keeping them in a false sense of security here before returning home in the last half. We are 3 minutes left on the clock and only 30 points lead by way of the Chads. That is 1 snitch capture and 1 goal before they meet in the middle. Chad in possession of the Quaffle. Going high, looks for the middle hoop, sends it, but Pumpkin with a beautiful save there. Showcasing that for a newer player, still has what it takes to keep even the most seasoned veterans out of goal. We're going to swap on over here shortly to Tux as the snitch game gets closer and closer. Looks as if Tux is trying to keep them out. J-Guard gets eliminated by Macoon, giving Tux a wide lead once more. Beautiful shot by Cardi, responding to those goals, finally getting a point on for PKS. 30-50, 1 snitch capture could bring this to a tied game. Tux looking to do so, keeping wide burst, staying safe. Getting closer, closer, looking for this capture here. Thierry puts another point on the board, making sure that that tied game is kept away just for now. 50-60. Chadley Cannon still in the lead, even with that beautiful capture by way of Tux for PKS. 2 minutes left on the clock. There is potential for this to turn around, but the Chadley Cannons don't want to give them that opportunity. Saffron in possession of the Quaffle, but Cardi grabs it out from their hands. PKS now in possession of the Quaffle, but Saffron gains it back. Looking as if the Chadley Cannons pass it on over to Chad. Chad moving over from the right-hand side, going up, going right, swings past Pumpkin with an easy goal there, moves in, 70 points on the board. We now have a 20-point lead. 1 snitch capture could turn this around if Tux maintains that seeker difference that he's been holding with Macoon on Jay. Jay is going to have to stay alive if they want to prevent Tux from getting there. But with every bludger, every beater hit, Jay is losing meter. Jay is looking to get that berth. Oh, Chad puts another point on the board, 80-50. They are maintaining that dominant Chaser lead. Tux is going to have to swing in here and maintain that snitch elevation, and 1 goal sent from PKS. This could look like a game 3. OTP has been eliminated by Macoon. There is no pressure being applied to Tux at this point. J-Guard is trailing behind in the snitch meter, moving into the last 30 seconds of the match. PKS still behind by 30 points. But this could turn around. As I've said, PKS is known for their last second. Chad puts another point on the board that might prevent PKS from getting that turnaround here. Tux captures the snitch at 20 points left on the clock. That is 70-90. There is a possibility for PKS to respond with 2 goals. Whether or not they can will be up to the Chads to maintain that pressure on them and keep them out of goal. That is a high pressure on both CompuGamer and their defensive line, primarily within Saffron, but Saffron maintains possession of the Quaffle, passes it over to Chad. Does Chad take the shot for the last second shot? He does, but that is it. That is 90-70 by way of the Chads. Beautiful goal. Beautiful goal there. Well done, Chads. Place your final bets now. Best of 3, even in the elimination rounds. That is right, Beesman. That is right. And we are in, taking a view of Tux on Seeker. Looks as if they are maintaining their positions as last time. Same when it comes down to Chads. Chad is my dad, keeping up on that pressure. Cardi in possession of the Quaffle, puts it in, 10 points by way of Team PumkinSnatch, with 6 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Meanwhile, Tux is taking a few bumps here and there, stunned, but still keeping a marginal lead on this snitch. It looks as if J-Guard has been taking note and is trying to keep out of the way of the ever-prolific Macoon, but Macoon still gets a clonk on them. Quaffle sent on downfield to T-Dreams. T-Dreams passing it on over to Chad. Chad taking it in from the right-hand side. Will he swing to the left? Does from the left, but misses. Beautiful capture there by PumkinSnatch. PumkinSnatch sending it on home to 21st Q. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle, swinging in from the right-hand side, trying to get past Compu, but misses by a hair. Snitch game is just entering into the 50-50 mark. It looks as if they're relatively even, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fantastic to behold. Chad in possession of the Quaffle, swings down, sends it on over, but it is wide. PumkinSnatch sending it on out to Cardi. Cardi showing in the past a great chance to get past Compu, but Chad regains possession of the Quaffle. Sends it wide. Cardi regains possession of the Quaffle for Team PumkinSnatch, trying to keep it over on the enemy side of the field to prevent them. Macoon takes a hit from a bludger. OTP gets hit with the bludger. Moving on over to the Seeker game, Tux is maintaining a wide lead on this snitch. J-Guard is having to try and squeak on by. It looks as if T-Dreams is in possession of the Quaffle. Will T-Dreams score before Tux has a chance to capture this snitch? It is anyone's game here. Tux takes a hit, knocking him off of line, but will it be enough? He's looking for his opening. Jay misses a bump. Jay gets hit. Tux captures the snitch, putting 20 points on the board, even as Chadley Cannons score there. That is 30-10. Team PumkinSnatch maintaining their lead at 4 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. The Chads are going to have to respond with that same kind of chaser pressure they had in that last game if they want to maintain themselves in this bracket. Otherwise, this could very well send them home. Tux comes in with a good bump and a last-minute swing out of the way of an oncoming bludger. Quaffle game is left up to chance, back into Pumpkin's hand. Pumpkin sends it on out. Cardi in possession of the Quaffle. Cardi showcasing a brilliant display in the previous matches of being able to get past CompuGamer. Will Cardi be able to do the same here? No, looks like CompuGamer gets that save. Once more sending it on out to Chad, but Chad gets hit by a Quaffle, relieving the Quaffle back into Cardi's hands. Cardi looking to once more put some points on the board for Team PumkinSnatch. Will Cardi be able to do so? Passes on over to Neo, but doesn't. T-Dreams now in possession of the Quaffle for the Chadley Cannons, holding on to it, passing it on out. Losing possession of the Quaffle, sends it on back. Chad now in possession of the Quaffle, sends it over to left hoop, but PumkinSnatch keeps it out of goal. Wide lead by way of Team PumkinSnatch on the snitch, with Tux and Macoon once more dominating the field. Ooh. They're going to have to put some excellent pressure on here. Cardi once more widening that gap. Now 40-10 with the 30-point disparity between them. That is snitch insurance, even if the Chadley Cannons get this. There's still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. There is a time for them to turn it around, but they are moving within the 80% time for the snitch meter, with Tux currently closing the gap. Will the Chads swing off of their powerful chaser gameplay in order to apply more pressure? We will see. We'll swap on over here, over to Tux's position as we are entering into 85-90% snitch meter. Cardi putting another 10 points on the board, creating a wider disparity between the teams. That is 40 points. That is going to have to be 2 snitch captures or 1 snitch capture and 2 Quaffle goals just to be able to get back on form. J-Guard is going to have to pull forward in this disparity on the snitch. Does J-Guard have what it takes to do so, as Tux is keeping that wide lead, using that snitch focus just to keep away from the enemy line? Swings off, entering onto enemy territory. Will Jay be able to get that hit? Oh, a beautiful hit by way of OTP, bringing that down. Tux is hit once more. But does he get it? Swings upward, gets the bump, gets hit by a bludger. Cardi puts another 10 points on the board. Jay has a chance to end this here, and Tux goes down. Jay captures the snitch. 1 minute, 16 seconds left on the clock. That is now 60-30. Only 30-point disparity. The Chads could bring this back around with 1 minute left on the clock. What a match, ladies and gentlemen. What a turnaround. Beautiful, beautiful coordination by way of the Chadley Cannons to keep Tux out of there, even with their domineering presence. Now they just need to respond with some beautiful chaser play, as they have been known to do in the past. Chad looking to get away around it, but Cardi regains possession of the Quaffle with that brilliant defensive line, moving it downfield, but T-Dreams picks the Quaffle back up for the Chadley Cannons. Chadley Cannons looking for an opening, takes it, the shot, and there's 40, 60, 30 seconds left on the clock. Do they have enough time to turn this around with the snitch capture? Even if they do, it doesn't look likely as J-Guard has been knocked down. J-Guard having conceded quite a bit of snitch meter. Tux may be able to secure this. Cardi putting another 10 points on the board. 15 seconds left on the clock. It doesn't look like they are going to get this here. And that looks like it's going to be the end, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, for the Chadley Cannons as Team PKS secures 70 points to 40, putting them into the next round of the losing bracket and moving us forward within the tournament.
Yeah.